Hey, what's going on, everybody? Geronimo22 coming back with a real life breakdown video, a little DB school here. The playoff time. It's always fun to give a little analysis. Yeah, the Cowboys got their ass kicked. I know. Defense stunk. I know. But when people give some facts, sometimes I hear on TV, or people say things that aren't 100% accurate. I'm very curious to find out why. What's going on. So it's really interesting today that Rex Ryan came on ESPN and was so animated about how many DBs were on the field for the Cowboys. Now, following the Cowboys, I've been following them and watching some of their games, and I've made videos on them. Everybody knows the Cowboys play with at least 5 DBs, but he said that the Cowboys had 6 DBs on the field or more majority of the game. So I had to find out, well, what happened? Like, did they change their defense or what? Well, not the case. And you Cowboy fans probably know this already, and I had to find this out now, is that their starting defense, they're missing Vander Esch, okay? And because of that, they had to go get somebody else to play linebacker. Now, when you watch this TV copy, it just says Damone Clark is the linebacker, Micah Parsons is listed as a linebacker, but we know he's really an edge player, okay? So that's not an accurate understanding of what's going on here. But they don't even mention number 14, okay? Even when they show, let me let it play a little bit, they show the secondary. I mean, he's not even a part of the secondary list, okay? So I had to go back and find out, like, what's going on. So I went back and looked at week 18, week 17, and I noticed that, yeah, the Cowboys have been using number 14 to play linebacker ever since, at least, I went back 2 games, ever since at least when they played the Lions. So let me just show you the TV starting lineup then, okay? So here it is. This was a screenshot versus the Lions, Marquise Bell, linebacker. So he is the second linebacker in the box. Now, if you guys go back and watch what I've talked about in the past, I've talked about how the big nickel package works, but I'll just give a quick little review of the orientation and where the players line up real quick. All right, so regardless of what they say guys are playing, let me just tell you the truth of what's going on, okay? We have our 4 down linemen right here, okay? Micah Parsons being always one of the edge guys. So that's your 4 down linemen, okay? So that's your 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? That's your guys for 4, it's a 4 down defense, okay? Then you have your 2 linebackers in the box. So this is like a nickel orientation. You're going to have 2 linebackers. 33 has been playing linebacker since the beginning of the year. This is the new guy, the safety, 6'2", 205, Marquise Bell, who just became now a linebacker because Vander Esch is hurt, all right? So that right there is going to make people not recognize that they actually are playing a safety and linebacker, and that's going to mess up the count. Why? Because we have the rest of the defense, right? So we have our corner out here. We have Bland. We have Gilmore, our 2 corners, right? Then we have our nickel, Jordan Lewis, number 2, right? He's the nickel. And then we have, right now, Hooker's not in the game, all right? So they have Donovan Wilson playing number 6 as a safety, and we have Jaron Kearse, number 1, as a safety, okay? So that's your nickel defense, right? 5 guys on the field. If they wanted to go big nickel, they would take out the actual nickel corner and probably put in a safety, right? So it's always going to be those 5 guys on the field no matter what, all game long. We've talked about that before. That's the point of running a nickel defense as your base, okay? But then now coming back to the extra guy in the box, well, not an extra guy, but the linebacker, who had to take over for Vander Esch is number 14. So if anybody sees a count, they're going to count that guy as the 6 DB, and that's an inaccurate stat, okay? So that's not why they lost. Not because they had too light of a defense. Let's just throw that out the window, okay? Let's talk about the actual gameplay from these guys. I think that's what was the problem, right? So I'm just going to quickly go through a couple plays and just focus really on number 14 and also on Jaron Kearse, number 1, and just take a look at some of this stuff, all right? So let's just watch this play and I'll go back on it. This is just a simple zone play, all right? Run to the left and just take a look at the fits, right? Look how many yards they get. Our D-line's not doing a great job right now. But honestly, let's look at number 14. You can see him on the backside, right? Let's just highlight him, right? You can see him back here, all right? He's going to try to fit this run, but just watch how slow he is with his footwork. You shouldn't cross over run in the box. It should be shuffle downhill, all right, and go make a play. So as we look at this, all right, Just watch him, and you can just see how he doesn't fit well. All right. Now, this run play is a well designed play because obviously with this motion, you're getting this linebacker running out of the box, number 33. I'm not going to talk about that too much right now, but just in general, this guy needs to fit a lot faster. All right. So that's just one clip. We'll take a look at some more here pretty soon. Right. And then just real quick, this is number 14 over here, and the running back somewhere over here. So he obviously didn't put a body on a body and didn't punish him. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here. This is going to be, again, I didn't talk about personnel too much because they didn't really change it up against different personnel that I saw. 11 personnel was start of the game, then they came out on 12 personnel, two tight ends later. But that wouldn't affect really if number 14 is going to be on the field. Let's just watch this play. All right, this is going to be just another zone run that cuts back up the middle. And just watch where this linebacker is aligned. Okay, again, we have our four down lineman right here. We have our safety down. We have our nickel here. So we're probably in some sort of cover three or cover one, right? Our two linebackers here. Let's just watch 14 and just tell me what you see when you watch this play, and just say like why is this gap so wide open? There's two reasons. One is for 14 is not very good. He's very soft. Obviously, he's taking on a lineman and then has to try to take on a tackle. But look at where he's aligned, right? You guys saw that. You're on top of this, right? Look at where he's aligned. He's aligned over here on top of the tight end. Now, maybe that's his man. I don't know. But still, if that's your man, you should still be closer to your gap. So let's talk about those gaps, all right? Let's just go into the end zone shot of this. They showed on the replay, thank goodness, and we can kind of get a view of what's going on here. Like where should he be aligned? All right, well, what's the proper thing that he should be doing? Okay, so right now on defense, we have our D tackle here. He's in the A gap, right? He's starting kind of like head up, B gap ish, but this D tackle is actually gonna stunt inside, all right, to the A gap. So the two open gaps right now, he's in C, he's in D, he's in C. So the two open gaps are B here and B here. So just a golden rule for a linebacker, just easy rule is just line up in your gaps. Okay. You can't always do that because of your actual man assignment or zone assignment, but it's easy that way. So if number 14, again, is using this DB mentality of let me line up over my assignment, he's actually messed up. All right. So he needs to be more inside so that if the ball is run like it is here, he can get this double team to come off faster and try to at least get to the gap or maybe beat the blockers. Okay. But right now, if you watch this play, just watch how slow he is on this play and just how he never really gets there. He's shuffling, he's going slow. Like, that's not good. Like, if you're any type of linebacker coach or safety coach or whatever, this is just really not good play. It's very slow. All right. And then put a move on this guy, right? I mean, the problem is that he can't do anything because the ball's already up in the line of scrimmage. If he was actually in his original alignment, he probably could have out athlete this guy and even made a play, right? But he can't in this situation. Now, number 33 doesn't do a good job either. Anybody out there is going to say, well, what about him? I mean, he does have this B gap. So he steps, and the running back does cut it up pretty soon. All right. He bends it back, but then he could just probably fall back and try to make a tackle. So he kind of like stays in his gap too long as well, which is, and that's just playing football. He needs to probably just make a decision a little sooner. But both of them are playing in slow motion. All right. And then obviously the end result is really bad. Okay. So that's the type of look you don't want to see. I mean, did you just see that real quick? Did you just see how passive? I know he just got knocked a little bit. So he's a little bit getting knocked right now. Right. But then here, he's just like trying to put his back on the guy. He's not really trying to tackle the guy too well. It's just that overall is just not good. That's not good linebacker play. There are lots of safeties out there that can play linebacker and play with that mentality, but he just doesn't have it. So I'm very shocked that he's on the field. So it seems more like a people problem, not necessarily a scheme problem. And obviously that was a misalignment. All right. Let's watch one more play. It's going to tell a whole lot about him and also about number one, which I've talked about a lot, Tayron Kearse. Okay, so we're going to get, again, 11 personnel. We're going to get some motion in this play here, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's actually coming from here. All right, but they're just going to run inside zone with the cutback block on the backside by the tight end. So inside zone split, okay? Now on defense, a little hard to see here from this angle, but what you're going to get really is a 5-man line. They took number 33, okay, and put him on the edge. I've seen this when they used to do this with Van Der Esch a lot, all right, and they're pretty much getting into a bear front or a cub front, you want to call it that way, but they have 5 guys rushing. So 33 is coming off the edge. We got a 3 technique coming here. We got a 0 technique, a 3 technique, and then we got an outside rusher in Parsons, okay? So you're getting in that 5-man rush, and most likely behind that, you play cover 1 in the red zone. All right, so these 2 guys are matched up on them. We have a safety here. We have a corner matched up here, and then number 1 is matched up on this tight end. Okay, so let's just focus on the interior. Don't worry, I know there's gonna be some motion here, and these guys are gonna bump around. Don't worry about that. We've talked about that before. That's rock and rolling. That's a whole different video. But let's focus really what goes on here with this tight end coming back and this running back going this way. Usually what happens here is what you would call a banjo or a switch between your 2 linebackers and the safety, or linebacker and the safety. So this is number 14 here, and this is Rayron Curse. You can see him kind of talking to him, all right? When this guy comes back, they would potentially man assignment switch. So if he does run to the flat on a boot play, then he will take him, and then number 1 will take the running back. But also that relieves you to your gaps and where you're going to fit. So as soon as this guy comes back, there's a run play, first needs to come downhill and fit inside that gap, all right, that was there before that guy left, okay? And then this player might kind of be slow, but he also needs to be reading what's going on. And then once he recognizes that the running back has the ball, go get it, okay? So let's just take a look at this real quick. Let's just focus on that. We'll look at it from the end zone. It's going to be a lot better. But if you watch this play, both number 1 and number 14 are there to are supposed to make this play, but they don't. Okay, number 14 tries to. He tries to put his head in there, but he kind of disappears. And then number 1 is crack blocked by a receiver, which is fine, but he doesn't really have any competitive bone right now to even do anything. He just takes on the crack and just stands there. Okay, I'm not going to talk about crack replacing right now. Maybe that could have happened with Gilmore, but let's watch this from the end zone. It's going to be even a better shot here when they show the replay. So again, we have that alignment that I showed you, right? You have your 5 down guys pretty much coming, all right? So there's technically, this player right here should, I don't know if they wanted to gap, maybe not. So if he decides to play on this outside A, then he has that A gap. The great thing about this is that because he's rushing and there's a player on the tight end, there's nobody to block this middle linebacker, all right? There's nobody to block Marquise Bell. But whatever happens on this play, watch him. I know he might be concerned with this banjo switch, but even if that's the case, he would just take a step to his right. All right. Now, technically, again, if this player, I just want to tell you guys this, with the idea of if he was supposed to come and block him, he's supposed to make another gap that would kind of be created just to cut back there if it needs to. But most defensive guys are taught when they see that block to spill, right? So that the gap would have to be over here. So if the ball was to bounce back, this linebacker could just make the tackle on the outside. He doesn't have to get caught up in all this muck. Okay. But the linebacker should have, this number 14 should have eyes and see that the running back is still committed to this side, and he shouldn't be a robot and just go back here. He should still be able to make a tackle. All right. So let's watch number 14 again as he goes to the play. All right. He tries to get through a little bit of trash in front of him. And then he's just not big enough and stout enough to just try to make this play. All right. He doesn't have enough lead in his pencil, whatever you want to say. And his mentality is not to even try to like throw his body in there. Now, the other guy, number 1, I mean, if I had to grade this, this would be graded for a horrible effort. All right. Your guy goes back. If you're playing him man to man, cool. Now you know I got this gap right here. Okay. Go get the ball. I don't care if this is play action because he's probably going to block. Go. What are you waiting on? And then on top of that, when number 13 tries to give you a love tap, at least give him one back. All right. Don't just stand there and just get washed down and then just don't do anything. And if you watch other linebackers, especially like, I know Cleveland got their butt killed too, but their linebackers will fit these type of plays a lot faster and come downhill. I have film on that. If you guys want to go back and watch what I talked about with Cleveland, with their players, they just did a better job. So we should have this guy coming here, this guy there, at least make it a contested play. This is the first drive of the series, and I saw all these errors already, but really it's the mentality. All right, it's the mentality of the players, and that's been the problem with Dallas's defense. their mentality of their defensive players just haven't been there. They don't get after it. If I had to go coach them right now, that would be the first thing you would fix. And whoever coaches them, Bill Belichick, whoever it might be, he's going to fix the mentality of that defense. And they're just going to play it with some fire lit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, they're going to play a lot more aggressive. And that by itself would actually make this a much better defense. Doesn't matter what system it is. Doesn't matter how many DBs are out there. If number 14 isn't it, he shouldn't be there, okay? Go get yourself a free agent. Go get yourself a guy if you want to play with a safety, because you want to play with safeties all over the field. That's cool, but go get some guys that actually can do the job that you want and that you need, all right? Man, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, look at my Patreon if you want to get more Madden talk, okay? And if you really want me to get more back into the DB school stuff and talk some more about games, I will do it without any question, all right? Talk to you later, man. Peace.